Cook here. Welcome to session 22 of the Mastering Mandelbulb3D Formula tutorial series. Now, I think it's about time that we move into hybrid modes. Now that's along the top here, that's alternate, interpolate, and DEcombinate. We're going to talk about these in the next X number of sessions, whatever it takes. I want you to really be thoroughly educated on these hybrid modes, because that is the gateway to some amazing stuff that you can do with the Mandelbulb3D application. Now, let's just make sure that you're okay with some of the other concepts that we've talked about. All right, and I just want to do a review because I don't want to dive in so hard that you just thoroughly get lost. And what's the point? What's the point of getting lost? Okay, so let's do a review, and then we're gonna try to take all of this, formula categories and the properties and the iterations and our bailout. We're going to try to make sense of all that by looking at the hybrid modes as we move forward in this tutorial series. Let's kind of clean up a little bit. I'm going to reset here and I'm going to recalculate. It's good enough. It's good enough. Okay. Let's just move it over. Good enough. Okay. We're not really too concerned right now with actually executing the formulas. We're more interested in getting our head wrapped around all of the various controls that we have concerning formulas. Now, we are in alternate mode right now for our little review. We had talked about the formula slots and that we have 6 of them. All right. In the alternate mode, we can assign formulas to each of these 6 formula slots. Okay? We had talked about the formula categories, and we had talked about 3D, which those are Escapetime formulas. All right, and we had talked about when you see a formula name that has an underscore preceding the name, that's a transform formula. Transform formulas do not in themselves produce a Mandelbulb fractal object, but what they do is they will apply a transform formula to a formula that is to the right of it. All right? That's a transform formula. We talked about the 3D A, meaning that the A means analytical, which is where the application, the Mandelbulb3D application, is determining the best DE value for that particular Mandelbulb object. Okay? 4D and 4DA, those are Escapetime formulas as well. They have an additional property in there that differentiates them in terms of the math people, all right? But they are a category of 4D, 4DA, A meaning analytical. Those are also Escapetime formulas. We had talked about the ADS, and we have 3 drop-downs or 3 sets, probably 3 because they didn't want the drop-down to go way past the window, so they just divided it up into 3 different sets. Those are all transform formulas. An ADS does not in and of itself create a fractal object. They're transform formulas, all of them. All of the ADS are transform formulas. We had talked about the dIFS. Those are shape formulas. All right, we got 2 categories. We got 2 drop-downs. And then this last dIFS those are transforms. These dIFS transforms will only transform other dIFSs. All right, you can't run a dIFS transform alone. Won't work. You can't try to run multiple dIFS transform formulas, because they won't work. You can't mix a dISF transform against an Escapetime, like a 3D. That won't work. Okay? Usually, anytime you use an Escapetime formula, which is a 3D, a 4D, all right, you can apply an Escapetime transform, which would be any of the ADS or anything with the underscore before the name. Escapetimes work well together. The dIFS, they do not work well with Escapetime, all right? And there's sort of like, there's some incompatibility there with the formulas that over time you kind of get a sense for what works and what doesn't. Generally, Escapetime formulas, 3D, 3DA, 4D, 4DA, and ADS as transforms, generally those will all work together nicely, which gives you an awful lot of capabilities in terms of combining. And that's all in the alternate mode, hybrid mode. Okay, so, but dIFS and Escapetime, they don't normally play together very well, but you'll get a message on the screen that indicates that there's the error, the formulas are not compatible or won't work together. Okay, so, okay, then we had talked about properties, okay? When you first call up a formula, the properties will be defaulted. And the only way to actually save your formula combination is by saving it as an M3P or an M3I. Okay? Down at the bottom, we have talked about the iteration count. All right, and that's the number of times that the formula with that the formula that is within the panel of the iteration count. That's the number of times that the formula will be repeated over and over and over and over again. All right, the iteration count. Not all Mandelbulb fractal objects benefit from very high iteration counts. This one, for instance, this integer power, can be accomplished, that is, formed on the screen, with simply one iteration of the formula. Whoop, done. We had talked about the min and the max formulas iterations down here. Those apply to the whole set of formulas. So a set or a sequence is all of the formula slots that have a formula assigned to them. If I had two formulas assigned, let's just do it here. What are we wasting our time here? I got two formulas applied. That is a set. This minimum iteration, maximum iteration, will be the number of times the set, in this case two formulas, is iterated, repeated. All right. So this iterates the formula set or the sequence. Our bailout, as you recall, that is a value which determines when a point is no longer considered part of the display. It's outside of the display. It has escaped. It has bailed out. Disable analytical DE, that's when you're using a 4DA or a 3DA formula. You can actually turn off the internal DE calculation. The inside and the outside, all right, inside render, outside render, and inside and outside render. That will tell the application that you want to look inside the Mandelbulb object, if that's what you want, or you can look outside, and the whole idea is to be able to view your formulas without getting the camera buried. Okay. All right. And of course, we talked about the info button. Okay. In a previous session, we had talked about this hidden. This JIT comes another time. That's another time. And you do have the ability here to load another formula in. All right. But that's later on in the series. Okay. I think we have enough. Oh, well, remember we can swap the formulas. Okay. We can swap the slots like that. And we also have a repeat from here. So if we have a set of formulas, all right, we can actually say run formula 1, 2, 3, 4, and come back and repeat at, say, 3, 4. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. We could do something like that. So we can do a lot. Let's end this session here. Just by saying that you have a lot of capability with the Mandelbulb formula functionality. All kinds of different formulas and different escape time and different shape formulas. Six formula assignments, combining iterations, our bailout. We can do a lot with just what we've talked about so far. So if you're ready, let's dive into hybrid mode. And I have been holding off talking about the hybrid mode to make sure that you understood, or you got a good handle on categories and sequences and iterations and our bailout, because all of that's going to be applied as we move forward. Okay? I'll see you in the next session.